we are.
Rolling.
Well, we're going to make the schedule. I was wondering if we were going to make this week or not. And thankfully, you were like, we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, weeks fly by sometimes, and wouldn't I call you last night or something? Yesterday morning. That's right. I called you at like 6 o'clock yesterday morning. Wasn't even thinking about 2-hour difference. And like, you want to do one or
Drinking
not?
my coffee in the morning. Luckily, I get up. I didn't shoot. You could call me at 2 o'clock this morning. How to answer? But I'm like, yeah, somebody talked to us and then just freaking wow. I don't know, man.
Daydreaming.
I could not sleep last night.
Old age, man.
I'm telling you, my daughter's been kind of having a little bit of sleep anxiety or whatever, and she was at a dance competition in Seattle. She went without us. It was the first kind of trip that she went without us, and I was like, well, she was having a hard time sleeping up there, and so I'm texting her at, I don't know what time it was. It was late. It was past my bedtime. And I'm just like, hold it on here to stay awake. And finally she stopped, she was just anxious or whatever. I'm like, dude, can't whatever backwards and all that kind of stuff. And just settled her down a little bit. And she finally went to sleep. I could tell whatever she didn't. Yeah. That's one of the benefits of having that read receipt. I could see that she read the message, and about after 45 minutes of unread, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure she's asleep now.
She's out.
Go to sleep. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I suppose you're a little trying to catch up from being gone over the weekend too.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Utah. We're getting ready for Wisconsin, but I slipped out to Utah, which is awesome. Those guys are always cool. Made it over there, and then Nate Lopez picked me up at the airport. I rode with him and Brandon and Brad. They drove me down there, and got to hang out with some of the Utah guys. Those guys, they never disappoint.
They got a pretty good show over there.
Yeah, they have really. I actually sent a picture of one from 2016. I think I went, and it was in, I think it was a fairgrounds or something, but it's gotten a lot bigger. I can tell you what, they've really gotten. I think they had maybe 500 or something people, which for the West is a pretty dang good showing. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I've seen just on Facebook, it seems like a lot of those Western guys, whether it be Eastern Idaho and Utah, like they kind of all intermingle and go to each other's shows.
yeah.
In Wisconsin, a lot of times it's pretty much just Wisconsin guys. I mean, we get a few people from the UP, but for the most part, it's pretty much just Wisconsin people.
Yeah. The Eastern Idaho Hounds Association is really good about that. They really have a couple guys that travel and have been making an effort to get out and spread. Yeah, like I can say Eastern Idaho is probably one of the best at trying to, like they got something for Oregon, and they're always getting something. There's a donation and trying to really support the other clubs and build that camaraderie or whatever, which is good. It's kind of building like an alliance. It's always been there, like I know like CHC, California, and I know Oregon. I'm on the board of Oregon, so I know that when there's an issue, we all are willing to step up and send funds or whatever to that. But some of those Eastern Idaho guys are really making the effort to show up at some of the different banquets and auctions and stuff like that.
Well, and going back to a few podcasts ago, and we talked about the whole non-resident thing. It's important that we all stay on the same page, and when we're showing up for other states, organizations, and stuff like that too, it just helps. Try to build a bridge between all of us.
I know it gets tough for me because I got to try and like choose. Like they're asking me if I was going to go to Eastern Idaho, and I'm like, I got Wisconsin on the schedule. You guys have kind of sucked me in, and we go down there, and it blocks off this weekend. But New York, I think, New York has their event this Saturday. Eastern
Oh,
Idaho has their event Saturday, which I'd probably be going to Eastern Idaho if it wasn't for you Wisconsin boys.
yep. What, what was the flight like or, the airport, I should say? Did,
It wasn't
you have
bad.
crazy lines?
No, not knock on wood. Like, I'm still a little nervous about it, but no, Portland was I literally probably 10-minute, line to get through for Utah. I was trying to fly out, standby the day before, and so I got to the airport, and apparently you can't fly standby the day before. So my flight was, like, super early in the morning, like 5:30, and
Mhm.
so I was like, "Man, I maybe I'll just fly in that night and sleep in a grab a room and get a good night's sleep and then drive into the banquet," and,
Yeah,
uh,
didn't happen.
something happened, some cancellation. So number 1, they they had a cancellation, so they couldn't even get an open seat on that evening. And then number 2, they were like, "Well, you can only fly out on the same day, I guess," which was annoying because I messaged, Delta, and I'm like, "Hey, can I fly?" And they were like, "Yeah, as long as it's 24 hours before." So I was like, "Oh yeah, like 5:30 in the
Mm,
morning, and I'll fly out at I think it was like 5 or 7 in the evening." And that didn't work. I mean, I got to the airport and then pretty much I
you
was like,
aren't
"Well."
counting on it, but hoping for it, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting it because when I looked at seats, that earlier that day, I was like 85 seats open. So I was like, "Oh shoot, I'll for sure get a standby seat." You know what I mean? I've never flown
Yeah.
standby before, so I was like, "Well, sure, I can." Out of 85, I'm like, "Sure." Well, nope.
Nope,
Seattle
wrong.
canceled some flight, and they were like, "No, we don't have anything." So I couldn't even buy a seat when I was there. I couldn't even
Yeah,
um, buy a seat because by then I was like, "Well, shit, I might as well just you know try to get a seat," and I couldn't even get a seat. So my daughter had another dance competition, so I just went over and watched her dance that night. So
I was
it
just
was
asking,
good.
I I just had the news on this morning while I've been doing some work in the background that they were at some airport there where it was like 5-hour long wait, and well, my mother and father-in-law just went to China yesterday or 2 days ago or something. They didn't mention anything about long wait lines, and it's just like, man,
Right?
sometimes you just don't know if the news is real life. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, yes, that airport, there was a long wait line, but are they taking like a little tiny snapshot and making it seem like that's real life for everybody? I don't
yeah,
know. So,
yeah. If it's a 4 hour wait, I'm missing my flight. I can tell you that right now. Like I don't. I I will go early. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sit. I'm not going 5 hours early. I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, we'll do the 2 hour rule."
no, and my one of my best friends, he's in Mexico right now with his kids, and I guarantee you, if he had a 4-hour wait at the airport with his
He was
kids,
gonna.
I'd have known about it because
You'd have heard. Yeah,
he'd have been bitching. And so I don't know what real life is sometimes.
yeah. I don't either. I seen that. And I, like I said, it wasn't bad for me. Saturday, it
Wasn't
was
your
like in the
experience.
morning.
That's good.
Jess and Mike are leaving tomorrow to go. So the way we normally do Wisconsin is we send a couple people. At least last year, we sent 2 people early, and so they can kind of scope out and get everything prepped and kind of ready. We got the shirts and stuff like that we got to get folded, um, and it was just too stressful to get in there like Thursday night. We get in at 9 o'clock, and then we're trying to figure out how to get in early and set up, and like if a flight gets delayed, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
too many
stressful.
variables. Yeah,
Yeah, so we just decided it's like send 2 people early so they could kind of go and get the ground set up, and then Mike will go. He'll get there Thursday evening, and I get there Thursday night. I'll try and stay and ship a few orders and stuff Thursday. So it's a little bit chaotic to try and get there. We'll
yeah,
see.
yeah. And you
Hopefully we
just
don't get.
never. We should have good weather here for you. I mean, it looks like we're in the 60s pretty much every day now, and so hopefully
Nobody,
there's no delays.
nobody's going hunting. That's the
No,
biggest thing. If it snows, I'm like, everybody's going hunting. I don't know if I should show up, man.
we got like 2 feet of snow. It would have been a week ago, Sunday, I
Yeah.
think it was. We got like 2 feet of snow, and it was good for 2 or 3 days, and then it got 75 degrees, I think,
Whoa.
on Wednesday. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we went from well, we were pretty much starting over. We had pretty much lost all our snow. Then we got that couple feet of snow, depending on where you're at in Wisconsin. And we went from that to back to nothing in like 3 days. Just
And you see when you
unbelievable.
get that much snow, it sucks because you're like, "Oh, we got snow," but it's like it comes in so fast, and I don't know what you guys, but nothing moves hardly, you know what I mean?
No.
Like
I went out and looked for a cat. Um, I went out and looked for a cat one day, and I even waited. I think I went out basically the last day that you were gonna be able to hunt before it was gonna crust over
right?
real bad,
Yeah.
and I didn't even see any old tracks. I mean,
Nothing.
they can yeah, them cats, when you get 2 feet of snow, they can really hole up for
Yeah.
several days. You know, the guys chasing coyotes, I think they had some fun for a few days because there's so many of them things, you can always find something somewhere generally,
Yeah.
but yeah, the cats, man, you get snow like that and they just haul up.
I know you get all excited because you get this snow, and then it's like you you gotta wait for that thing for stuff to start moving half the time,
Yep,
and you
you
just
gotta
don't
wait
know
for them
how
to start
long.
shaking loose. Yep.
Yeah, and then by the time they do, the weather's crappy, you know what I mean? It normally turns
Exactly.
to be it's like, "Oh, now we got ice," and all sorts of other shit, and it's like, man, that I don't know.
Exactly.
I I I dislike snow. It's so much nicer doing it without it, but,
Yeah, it's,
uh,
unfortunately, it's about necessary here with all the
yeah.
water and ice we got, but you came back a little heavy too from Utah, didn't you?
Yeah.
In a carry-on?
Yeah, I ended up having a pup that I picked up, but that thing has been it's been challenging. I've lost 2 dogs. Like, I don't know if I, talked on this about Della, but Della died on me. Um, so, like, 2 out of my 3 old dogs have died in the last, like, 3 months now, like December and February, and, man, yeah, I was starting to feel the pinch. I got weak and brought a pup.
Oh, we're my best female should be in heat any day here, and I'm gonna breed her too, and my wife and kids are pumped about having puppies. It's been a couple years since we've had puppies around, and I'm like, I just I'm not a big fan of puppies. I mean,
It is
I'm not.
my wife well, I mean, if I gotta have a litter of puppies, she's gonna go nuts. Like, it's a little bit of a fight for having puppies in my house. She's traumatized from the last litter. We had like 12 of them running around, and of course, a couple of them die, and she lays on a couple, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just it's brutal, like,
shit
that
happens.
process. Yeah. We had one that the dog would, like, was copper, uh, would go take and hide the puppy in my closet, you know what I mean? And we're like, "What in the heck?" And, of course, it was like the runt or something, and well, my wife would get pissed and be like, "You can't," get pick her back, bring her back in there, and shit, Copper would come in there and stuff her in the closet again and leave her, like, isolate her from the pack the puppy
Mm.
pack, and, she that puppy died at, like, I don't know if it was 3 months, 4 months of, like, liver,
Ugh.
some kind of liver problem, and we go back to the fact of, like, how the mother knew that one pup was not right
So
was
yeah,
impressive,
yeah,
um, but it didn't stop the human nature of, like, trying to
yeah.
override that.
Impressive but heart wrenching at the same time. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for my wife, it was like, "No, you can't," you know what I mean? Like, "This
yeah.
puppy's here," you know what I mean? Like, that part of it, um, yeah, that was a lesson for us that we fought a lot for that puppy. I think her name was Ranger or something, but, yeah, whatever it was, Copper knew that when those pups were a couple weeks old, you know what I mean? It wasn't very long, And,
she knew that that puppy wasn't worth her resources, basically.
yeah, yeah,
She was gonna
and
put it towards the rest of them.
mhm, and,
Yeah,
well, we didn't allow that to happen, but, yeah, she would have just stuck that puppy off somewhere where she couldn't hear it cry and let it die. That's what hindsight, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it took a little while to be like, "Oh, that's what was happening," you know what I mean? Like, she was anyways, so that was
yeah,
pretty traumatizing at my house.
yeah.
Yeah, so
So are you, house training and stuff right now?
yeah, yeah.
How's that
Had a
going?
nice turd right in the freaking hallway this morning. Yeah.
Hopefully a solid one at least.
It was the first time it was a solid one. I was like, "Oh, right on, that was nice." But she hit 2 twice. She's actually really, pretty good, honestly. Like I'll get up, she's in there, and I just open the front door, and we'll go out, and she'll go to the bathroom right away, take a turd, you know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, damn, this little pup is, you know,
Mhm.
doing good." And then, of course, find a turd in the
Not that good.
hallway. Not that good. You're just about the time you think it's good. But yeah, no, it was still there. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's the
No, she's
stuff
been
that
fun.
that's the stuff that I just don't I don't look forward to at all. It's so nice having your seasoned dogs that are all on the same page, you know, you let them out 2, 3 times a day or whatever, and they're good, and, oh, man, you get a puppy or something, and it just right back to square one, it feels like.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll see. I'm gonna have to really make a little more effort this year to train harder because I have Kit. She's right at like just turned 2. And so I haven't relied on her and I've kind of just let her naturally, like
Mhm.
she's been exposed and stuff. Um, but I've never had to rely on her to do the job. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, she's in training and with losing Shy, which Shy was falling off anyway, she was slowing down and you know what I mean, like getting overrun. Della was a hard one to lose because she was kind of right. She was in her prime and she's 10, but man, she had wheels. So she was really, good on the jump and,
Mhm.
you know, just made a lot of I don't know, the confidence, you know what I mean? Like I really can put pressure on on Della. And then Shelby, of course, my little red dog, she's almost 12. We looked at her and I was like, shit, I mean, I know she's gonna fall off, but they still at that age when I had a freaking, 12-year-old, a 13, a 12, and a 10, like I could rely on them. The 13 was falling
Mhm.
off, you know what I mean? It's like, but at 12 and 11, we weren't catching them like we used to, but we were pretty uh successful and pretty confident. They had I could just chill out and relax. I didn't have to like work on 'em. They knew what they were doing and
Yeah,
that
you
was
could
kind of
count on
nice.
them to hold it all together, and
Yeah, and not make a ton of mistakes and not,
yeah.
not have a big old zoo, nothing like that. So it was actually pretty like calm. You know what I mean? I was like, oh yeah, here's a track. Let's the dogs. They know what they're doing. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be entering a phase of life that is not calm, probably, and not as I would say consistent. Probably is the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, with Shelby being 12 now, she's kind of the old dog. Um, I don't know when she's going to fall. She's going to fall off a cliff here in a little bit. She doesn't hold up hard hunting day after day after day,
Yeah.
but she's still decent. So anyways, we will see. I got Andy, like she's in her, she's probably like 6 or 7. So she's right there. So she should, she's been doing good, but I don't know. I guess I haven't watched her, um, how do I say this? I don't have the confidence in her. You know what I mean? Like she
Yeah.
does everything. She's there. I watch her pick up loses. I watch her. She's not doing anything wrong, but I've never watched her totally lead um, a bunch of pups. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
No, it
she
makes
does great.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah, she
You
does
know,
really. I mean, I know she does really good behind a bunch of, you know, 9, 10, and 11-year-old dogs. You know, she's right there, doesn't make anything, but she's never been that dog that I'm like, oh my god, look at Ambi. I mean,
yeah.
um, but then again, the last cat I caught, she was the total one that started it. You know what I mean? It's like, so I watched her start, and I just have never given her the credit that, you know, she's due, I guess.
Well, and sometimes, obviously when you turn your dogs out, that I'm sure it's pretty much all of them. So you got
Yeah,
the same mix of dogs every time. And
yeah,
I mean, sometimes you don't realize how much one or two of those dogs is really holding everything together until you don't have them, you know.
exactly.
And I had an old dog, Remy, that I had to put down about a year ago, and that's kind of the way he was for me. I mean, he wasn't fast, so he wasn't the reason we were catching shit, but
Yeah,
he's the reason why I would get everything jumped because
it's
he just
consistent.
held everything together. Yes.
Yeah,
And once the track got warmed up or got jumped or whatever, then the other ones would take over. But like he just held everyone together. And it's like everyone knew, like, do what Remy's doing, you know, like
yeah,
he knows what's up and he's gonna lead us to the promised land. And then, when I lost him, or he had DCM, heart, enlarged heart or whatever. So it actually was good for me the last couple of years of his life because I could hunt him a little bit,
mhm,
but not very much. So I could like hunt him just enough that if the wheels kind of started falling off of everybody else, like I would put
you
him
had
out
them.
the next
Yeah,
time, and
right.
kind of
Yeah,
kind of get things dialed back in. And it kind of helped me, well, because I was bringing up two pups at the time too, and it kind of it was good because I wasn't counting on him every time, but yet when
yeah,
I needed him, I had it, you know?
yeah.
So,
Yeah, and that's kind of where I think I'm gonna be this year is, I got Shelby, who's, she's 12 now, and like I said, if I gotta go catch a problem cat, she's definitely going, and
yeah,
we we did just fine. I mean, like, the last cat we caught, everything looked good, and the pup actually, the kit, I mean, honestly, looked like $1,000,000. Well, I won't say $1,000,000 because no, she didn't look like $1,000,000 at all. But she,
500,000.
yeah, 500,000. You know what I mean? So she could have looked like $1,000,000, right? So she found the track, and the other dogs are ignoring her because she hasn't, uh, in the history, she hasn't consistently just taken the track away from them or whatever. But I've watched her pick up these losers, and she's pretty quick on the track. And so she found the track, but she didn't just drive it. You know what I mean? Take it. And she made a loop, and it was coming back to check something, and the other dogs went. And because I was like, does she have it? Does she not? I just don't have confidence in her. Well, Shelby and Andy got up there, and they took it, and then wherever it made a turn or something like that, they found the turn and just kept going. And at that point, I was like, oh, we're gonna catch this. I mean, that was the moment that I was like, okay, we actually got to line out of here, because we
Yeah,
were messing with a bunch of shit tracks trying to get it started, and that was right where we started it. And she really was just so close to starting it, and well, those older dogs took off, and they had the experience to be like, nope. 100%. This is the
yep,
right track.
yep,
This is the way we need to go. And so they moved it out to finally get it jumped and all that good stuff. And she caught back up, but that was the moment she could have been like signed, sealed, and delivered. She could have found the loss, drove it, pushed it to the jump, and caught it. And those older dogs wouldn't have caught her, but she bobbled and let those older dogs catch up and right at the first lose. And but anyways,
yep,
like I said, I came in and she was treating like $1,000,000. So that was the first time I'd seen her tree just super nice. And
sure.
um
And when you see something like that happen, with a young dog, you're always like, all right, was that a lack of confidence?
yeah.
Like, did they know they had it and kind of just ran out of confidence? Did she just get lucky and
Mhm.
dumb into that? And that's like what I watch for anyways, is like, all right, is am I going to consistently start seeing this more, or was that kind of just a one-off thing? And what's she lacking?
Yeah.
Is it something that she's going to work through, or get over, like lack of confidence? It could have just been she's been so used to being with all the other dogs, and she's like, "Oh, I got it." And she gets out there a little ways and she's like, "Oh shit, where's everybody else?"
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's
Um,
kinda what it was because she looped back to come back, and the
yep.
other dogs, they didn't care. They didn't look back. It was like, "I'm going with or without you." So she was kinda like, "Hey, guys, let's go." And
She was thinking about them, but they weren't thinking about
yeah,
her.
exactly. And so hopefully that, like, settles down for me and she kinda
Yeah.
just takes that and drives it, like, those are
It could just be maturity too. Just
yeah, I think so.
another year of maturity and yep.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm like I said, I was, and I've been pretty relaxed on the expectations from my pups. You know what I mean? I know those guys that are like, by this time, and I
Yep.
haven't been that way. And I've been lucky that my pack has developed naturally. But this year is probably the first test that I'm going to feel. Um, I just feel like I'm going to learn some lessons this year
Sure.
that I, um, that were masked by having 3 solid older dogs, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like, I had a lot of it's just the way I'm thinking. I was like, "Man, I have a feeling my dynamics are gonna change," and I've known this for a while that I've been relying on those older dogs. Probably too lazy, you know what I mean, whatever, but, um, some of it is I didn't want 8 dogs at the house, so I kinda was waiting for some to cycle out, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
how I got into this situation where every year I got a dog, so I got Shy, and then a year later we got Shelby, and then a year later we got Della, and so, um,
But
it's like
eventually you got to take a break from that, or you're going to end
ex
up with a
yeah,
dozen, like you said. Yeah.
exactly, and so I had to take a break, and those 3 dogs just kept aging and aging and aging, and I couldn't add so I don't know the answer, like, it's almost like you gotta wait 2
Yeah.
years, 3 years between pups, or you gotta get more, like, I don't know, it's like, that's a difficult yeah, it's a difficult answer, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, the answer is having 12 or 15 and
yeah,
always, you know, cycling your bottoms 3 out, whether you sell them or whatever. But I'm with you. Once I get a dog and raise it and train it, like it's probably not going anywhere. I mean, I've sold a couple dogs at a year old or 1.5 or
yeah,
whatever. But, once they're 3, I mean, they're probably not going anywhere because
yeah,
by then I know what they are, and
yeah,
I know I know if they're either good enough to stay or have weaknesses that I can tolerate and fit in with my bunch.
yeah, yeah, and that's kind of yeah, that's how I feel is a guy could, you sell a 5 or 6-year-old and it once in a while and just even out your pack or, what I mean, space them out, uh, but that's
It's hard to
I
do.
just I don't
Uh,
sell dogs, so I don't know how to do
Well, you
that.
got them in the house and stuff. There's a lot,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
yeah.
connection there
So
that's
I'm just gonna load up and then I'm gonna go through a bunch of hail and then I'm gonna hopefully load back up and and maybe I'll have another 10-year span of, or 8-year span of ease, but I'm gonna have a year or 2 of shit, and I'm just gonna have to fight through this. I don't know. So we'll see.
I'm trying to space mine out about every other year having a puppy or 2.
Yeah,
And I mean, that's what I've been doing so far, but you
yeah,
know, who knows? Sometimes there's a breeding that comes along and you're like, "Oh man, I really want one of those." So you get one of
yeah,
those, or then you might go a stretch of 3 years without getting any, but there's no right answer. It just and then you got the fluky shit that happens too, or a 5-year-old dog dies of something, or
yeah,
and just something you weren't planning on. So you just never
yeah.
know.
It is challenging. It's interesting. Yeah,
You either got too many or not enough. It's pretty
yeah,
hard to stay in that sweet spot.
yeah. They get older, and they don't last very long. You know what I mean? 10 years. Like I look at it, and go, man. Like I look back at some of the pictures lately, and it's like that was not very long ago that Shy and Shelby and all them were in that 2, 3, 4 year old range, and just especially when they're like that. Man, when they were in that 4, 5, and 6 year old range, we were hell on wheels.
Cranking.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was awesome. But
It,
and then you
it,
get to the
it
older,
goes fast.
you're just like, okay, we're still. I'm not feeling as good. They're not feeling as like I feel confident. Uh, but yeah, it's it's a dynamic. It's a lesson I haven't learned yet, and so I just feel like I'm going through this time period of trying to figure this part out.
Is that puppy like 8 weeks old or 10 weeks old or
Yeah, right around 8 or 8 and a half.
so
Yeah,
that'll put it what about 9 or 10 months old when you start hunting next year?
yeah,
That'll be
yeah.
about perfect, won't it?
I mean, I go out if whatever I do, we'll start now, but
Sure.
I don't have any pressures, but she will go with me every time I
Sure.
go out, for almost whatever. Because I'm not messing with bears or something, taking much pressure. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't expect them. So like most of the time, they're walking with me to the tree. They come into the tree from my side.
Hanging out and hopefully one
Yeah,
day start putting a couple pieces together. Yep.
yeah. They'll be like hanging out with the dogs, and then all of a sudden the dogs just take off, and there she's like, "What?" So looking around on the road, like, "What? Shit, I guess I'm hanging out with you today." You know what I mean?
Where are they going?
Keep my boots clean for a little while, and then eventually they'll when they get there. And I say she because I always use females, so
Yeah.
they kind of see that happen and start going with them. They don't know what's going on, but they just stay with the dogs barking, and I mean it just nat- you
Eventually
know
they figure it out. Yep.
naturally they figure out that there's a smell involved with it or whatever. So, um, yeah, that's at least how I've done it in the past,
Yeah.
and hopefully I can continue to do that with
I
younger
really
dogs.
enjoy like the 9 months to year and a half or 2 years old, part of training a puppy. But man, I can't that up until they're old enough to do something for me. Just
Yeah.
I'm not a puppy guy. So
I'm
but I
I'm
you know, I really have seen what I do with puppies up until that point and see how it pays off for me down the road. So,
right.
I'm not to the point where I just want to, well, I'll just start buying 9-month-old dogs because I really don't want that either.
Yeah.
There's a lot of habits that are developed and connections that are made that first 9 months that I wouldn't want to not miss out on. But oh man, I was just talking to my wife today or last night. So our bear season starts July 1st, and I don't hunt from my house. I go up to my cabin and hunt out of my cabin. And I was just telling my wife, I'm like, if Izzy has pups, she's gonna have those freaking pups at the beginning of July. Like, unless she got bred today, they're not gonna be they're not gonna be
Yeah.
going home before bear season starts. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to figure out how I can drag her and the puppies all the way up to the cabin and have a spot to keep puppies while we're up there hunting and then drag them all back. And I got a dog trailer. And I told her, I'm like, they're going to piss and shit in there. And I
Yeah.
hate cleaning out that dog trailer. So it's just like stuff like that. I'm like, oh, is it really worth the hassle? But
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is.
How long do you stay up there?
I mean, it all depends,
Will you
like
come back and back and forth?
over 4th of July weekend, we'll be up there 4, 5, 6 days, something. But,
Oh,
um,
that's gonna be miserable for you trying to like jockey back and forth.
I know, and there's times where I'll run up there during the week, and my wife and kids will be at home because they got school or she's got work or whatever, and then I can just leave them at home, and they'll take care of them. But
Yeah.
pretty much every weekend we're all up there, and I can't really leave Izzy and the puppies at home for 3 days unattended, you know? So, it was just something that crossed my mind last night, and I was like, "God dang it."
The timing on that is not gonna be fun. You just gotta have to
No.
just go up there and just plop down, stake down, and be like, "I'm living here for 8 weeks,
Yeah,
to 9
right,
weeks."
yeah, my wife would love that, uh-huh.
Yeah,
Ideally, if it was up to me, that's what I'd do, but I
just stay there.
might have all my shit in the yard when I decide to come back home.
It costs you half your shit, but
Yeah. Cost
puppies
me
are
half my
never good,
shit.
man.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it is what it is, but
Yeah, I don't I don't envy you. Even, having a puppy and, like, trying to travel, like, because we're gonna try to do our spring break or whatever, and, um, yeah, I'm going to Wisconsin or whatever, and it's like, normally, it's kind of a pain, but it's like, what do you do with a young puppy? It's like 10-week-old puppy. I'm like,
mhm.
man, I gotta get somebody to try and watch it, because you just can't. It's just pain. Like, that part of it, I don't enjoy, and it's really disruptive.
Very, yep, very much so.
My
When you got your old dogs, if somebody's gotta watch them, like I said before, you let them out a couple times a day and feed them, and
Yeah.
no worries, but,
Yeah, they all came
a
home,
puppy
not have to
you're
worry about it, but
yeah,
not a puppy.
puppy you're trying to get potty trained, and, if you gotta take that dog to somewhere else, it's completely new to that puppy and probably gonna
Yeah.
mess up every bit of progress you've made at home.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah,
We
yeah,
will
I don't
see.
enjoy it. I don't
We
enjoy
will
it.
see. So, hmm.
Yeah, I know you've
Yeah.
told me the last year or something, that your pack was getting old, but man, you've had a rough last few months and,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So, like, and both of them were spleen ruptures, which is, like, crazy to me, because I haven't heard a ton of spleen, like,
I I haven't either.
yeah, and so I was, honestly, I was trying to figure out if it's food I'm feeding or whatever, but, yeah, apparently it's fairly common with dogs, and I mean, they were older dogs, but, like,
Mhm.
they'd get a tumor or something in their spleen, and, it ruptures, and so Shy, happened out while we were out in the woods, you know what I mean, and, halfway on the race or whatever, I could just tell she filled up, and I had to go hike in to go get her and then walk with her out. Della was like, there was no indication at all. E Loading her up at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, just loading her back up in the
Mhm.
truck, jumped in the truck just fine, trotted over to me, like, there was like, Shy, I knew something was wrong. When I got to
Yeah,
her, I was like, I thought I was looking for a dead dog, you know what I mean? She was curled up under a log, and that was a pretty intense, hike out, you know what I mean? I was quite a
yeah,
ways in, and, um, knowing what I know now, I probably would have just tried to put her down, you know what I mean? Like, well, I had to have the vet, put her down when I got back and we found out what was really happening. But in hindsight, she was dying. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
when she was coming out of the woods, she was basically the only reason she made it out was because of me. You know what I mean? Like, she was
yeah,
just so loyal to me that she was going to come out with me, um, and give every last little bit. But if it wasn't for me, she was gonna die. Right? She knew she was gonna die. I just
yeah,
In hindsight, I look at it and go, "Yeah, she was telling me, like, I'm good, you know what I mean? Go home without me or whatever." And
yep,
it's kinda like that puppy, you know what I mean? Like, over the road or whatever, and you don't know, it's humans, you look at it and look at this situation differently, but, um, with Della, it was not even like that. It was, you know, literally, we were out, she's trotting around, I was videoing the e-seek, on one of my days, and so I literally went back through my film to see what she looked like when she was, I watch her just trot by
nothing's
like
wrong, yep,
nothing's wrong, and I'm like, "Man," and I go back and I remember loading her up in the dog box, loaded her up, just, jumped in, dog box, no problem, and then when I got home, she come out, and that was the first indication that, um, I could tell she wasn't feeling right, you know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, she's, a little bit of a droopy head," you know what I mean? Like, her head was just kinda down, and I Didn't think too much of it, just maybe like, "Oh, yeah, we just, you know, worked a little harder or whatever."
Yeah.
I guess I was, because I remember so she got bit by the cat, right, in her nose, and so her upper nose was broken, and all the nostril stuff was crushed, on one side, and so I remember during that day thinking, "Shit, she's gonna be fine," you know what I mean, watching her work her nose, and I was
Mhm.
like, because I was kinda curious, like, what's that gonna do to her
Long term,
drive and
yep,
yeah,
yep.
now I remember seeing her that day going, "Oh, she's gonna be totally just fine," you know what I mean, like, 100% that nose is not gonna affect her, and whatever, it healed up just fine or whatever, and anyways, when I got home and she had her head down, my first thought was, "I wonder if she's got a headache from something using that no," you know what I mean? Like, that was my first indication was like, is she, a stroke or a headache or something from the injury? And, so that was my first kinda like, "Hmm." And so, um, anyways, got her in and, got her laid down, and she walked in the house just fine, walked instead of trotted, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so I could tell she was just down. Um, and yeah, a couple hours later, we took her to the vet and she was pretty much dying, dead. And I was like, same thing, spleen rupture. I was like,
Jeez.
and I really checked with the vet. I was like, is this anything related to the injury? And they were like, no, there's nothing. So like, because I was trying to figure out how to, it's just kind of weird for me to have a dog that just recovered and then all of a sudden, you know, like the third trip out, fourth trip out, uh, it's doing that. I was like, huh, that's not normal. So
Yep.
I don't know.
I had
So
one that kinda yeah, she was only 2 years old, but she'd gotten bit. A bear was gonna end up killing her because she got bit by the same bear 3 times, and she spent a couple weeks at the vet because
right,
she kept getting infection real bad.
yeah,
So they'd sew her up, and then the infection wouldn't go away, so they'd have to cut her open and clean it all up. Well, she was at the vet for, like, 2 weeks and finally healed up, was doing great, running great again, and, I actually had to work, and my cousin had her and was hunting her, and he was watching her on the GPS, and all of a sudden, she just stopped. Like,
yeah,
they were running, a bear jumped, and all of a sudden, she just stopped, and at first, he's like, "Something wrong with the collar? Her collar
yeah,
fall off?"
exactly. Yeah,
Whatever. Well, and then once they realized, I think all the dogs crossed the road or something shortly after that, and she wasn't with them. And then he was like, "Oh shit, the wolves got her." So
right,
he ran in there and he said she looked like somebody had just beaten her with a baseball bat, kind of like
right,
her eyes were kind of rolled back in her head. And she was a little dog and he carried her out, rushed her to the vet. I was actually working not too far away from the vet and I met her there and she died like shortly before they pulled into the vet, but they figured that she had a blood clot or something. And it was like
yeah,
a brain aneurysm or, a clot that had cut loose from all those surgeries before or something.
hmm
But
yeah. That's kind of what I was wondering on on my side was, if it was some type of clot or
yeah.
something. Anyways, yeah, yeah. Maybe I should have done a what do they call them, necropsy or whatever. But
But
you just
what
never.
does it
Anyways, like,
change? Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's gonna cost you another what, $1,000 to
yeah,
get a piece of knowledge, but what are you gonna do with that knowledge other than,
yeah,
this conversation would obviously be a little
yeah.
different, but
You could say it for sure. Like, but
yeah, but
yeah,
you didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing you really could have changed. It just kinda is what it is. So,
yeah.
um, I've been in that same situation a couple times, like, should I pay the money to figure out exactly what it was? And I'm like, "Well,
I tell you,
I don't know."
so Shelby last week or this week, shit, it was this week. Um, yeah, like so, like Monday or Tuesday this week, Shelby was yelping and whining. I think when it was. Yeah, it has to be like a Tuesday or something. And you touch her back, and she, "Arr!" Just scream, and I'm like, oh my god, like.
Here we go
And
again. Yep.
she's curled up in her kennel, didn't want to come out, didn't eat one morning, and I'm just thinking, son of a bitch, like, I'm gonna lose 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my daughter's already crying, you know what I mean? Basically, daughter's looking at this like, "We've been down this road," and Laura's like, I'm trying to hold it together, like, I'm kinda scared, like, dude, you know, I was like, "Dude." Anyways, we took her to the vet. I was like, "Alright, we're gonna take her to the vet," and I just told us to do blood work, and, we did a urine. Y Basically, but it's like, am I dealing with something, like, I was like, it's something, and I'm like, am I dealing with
Yeah.
something unnatural? And, they couldn't find anything. Like, they found that she had a urine infection, and she has a tumor, a breast, cancer tumor
Mhm.
in her mammograms or whatever you call it. Um, and so, and I don't know because at one point I kind of got on to her for getting on the couch. And she jumped on the couch, and I was like, "Get off the couch." So I don't know if me swatting my hat at her or something like that,
She
got
just
her a
tweaked
little
something a little bit.
tweak something or whatever in her back, because she's acting fine now, and she's
Yeah.
eating. And but it was one of those situations. Is like, we were weak. We're like, we're going to the vet now. We're not gonna wait. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah, after the last few months you had, it's just like, "Oh, here we go again." Yep.
yeah, yeah. But I thought I was gonna be number 3, and I was like, son of a bitch. Like, that would be pretty detrimental. And I'm
Yeah.
still not sold that we're not past it. I'm still a little uneasy. You know what I mean? Something
Yeah.
happened. I'm like, um, and then you're looking at a 12-year-old. So she's not fixed. She's the only dog I had that's not fixed, because I was like, oh, maybe I'll read her. I'm not reading her now. She's too old or
Yeah.
whatever. But there was a time where I was like, maybe I would, because she's out of those red dogs I used to have. And so I was like, maybe. And that time has passed. So now I'm like, the vet's like, well, she's not fixed, so we should bring her fixed and remove that. So me and Laura are like, do you fix a 12-year-old dog? Like,
Yeah.
literally, I'm trying to figure out what the benefit of fixing it. If you're a vet, I'd like to know if there is a legitimate benefit of fixing a 12-year-old dog, or am I just getting 6 months? You know what I mean? Like, I'm
I've
curious about
heard
that.
that, and I know of people that have fixed, older dogs. I think they say it lessens their chance of some cancer, but
Hmm.
she's 12. Like,
Yeah. What am I gonna
yeah,
get? 13? You know what I mean? I'm trying to do the math, and I'm like, how old? So
yeah,
that's
I could see
tough.
at 9, maybe
Yeah.
maybe 9 because you're hoping you're gonna get another 3, 4 years out of her or something, but,
Yeah.
I mean, you've kinda already got that, so
Yeah,
yeah, I
I've already
don't,
got my so it's like that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is when it was going to fix the if we couldn't figure out what she was yelping about. You know what I mean? Like, she was really yelping about something. We couldn't figure out it was an adamant or whatever, and so we're like,
mhm,
you know, and it's just kind of gone away. And so it's
yeah,
like, I don't know if the infection, the urine what do you call it? The bladder infection,
yeah,
if
UTI, yeah,
UTI, I don't know if that's painful in what was causing it, and so the antibiotics are, what I mean? So, it's just, I hate it when you don't find a hardcore solution to the
yeah,
issue, because it's like, and then,
when
like I
things
said,
aren't black and white, yep,
yeah, and then, the vet's like, "Oh, yeah, we can fix her," and then, it's like this tumor, it's a small, you know, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter tumor, which I'm not opposed to getting that, taken out, but again, there's just some logistics on a 12-year-old dog that you're like, is she gonna recover fine? Like, I got a puppy jumping on her head. I got to think about that. You know what I mean? Like, all these different
yeah,
things of the recovery, and it's like, oh,
yeah, is it
those
worth it?
is
Is
it
it
worth it?
worth it? Yep,
So, we actually held off on we had her scheduled, and because of, number one, me traveling and all that, it's like, okay, let's at least schedule it on a time. It's not a rush, since she's feeling
mhm,
better. We're gonna try and schedule it at a time that's a little more convenient for us, to care for her after the surgery. And but we're ultimately trying to debate, is this something that, I mean, what is the value added? You know what I mean? Essentially,
Yeah.
what is the value for her added? And um, is there a value for us? Which at 12, I don't think there's a ton. And I mean,
I I
uh,
we haven't had, I mean, I would say 80 or 90% of our dogs are dead by the time they're 12 that we've had,
yeah,
you know. I mean, we've had a few that make it longer than that, but it's like at 12, especially a hunting dog, I mean, you've done pretty well already,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. So Copper made it to like 13 or 14, and Penny was about the same. I had two red dogs that made it that old. And I swear the only reason they lived that long was because they were afraid of missing a meal. You know what I mean? By that time,
Yeah.
they'd hang on through the night because they're like, "Oh, if we can make it through the nighttime, we could probably get
Get one more
breakfast."
meal.
Yeah. Then get finished with breakfast and go, "Shit, if I die today, I won't get dinner."
Yep.
So I don't know if that's where I'm headed with Shelby. She might hang in there a little longer. Uh, yeah, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah,
So I don't know.
that's the worst part about having dogs is them getting old. God damn.
Yeah,
And it, like you said, it comes so fast.
yeah, yeah.
It
But
comes fast.
I just don't know the benefit of fixing at 12, if there is one. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm kind of talking myself out of it because I just don't think there's any. Uh, i- if it was going to fix her issue or something, if it was the pain issue, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, we can do that because I don't want to see her in pain. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
either
For sure.
have to put her down or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But like when she was yelping, I was like, oh, and anytime you it wasn't every time, but it was just certain times you touch her or touch her back or whatever. Um, she would just scream, you know what I mean? And I was like, would not lay on her back. They tried to lay on her back to do x-rays and uh, couldn't get x-rays. And so that was one thing that we were going to do is we were going to x-ray her when we had her out for the surgery. I was like, oh, we could do
Mhm.
the x-rays, if we have her fixed. And now I'm second guessing that. So I don't know. We'll see. She's
Yeah.
acting fine. So
In
I
her
got time.
defense, I'm like, week and a half ago, I just bent over and twisted a little bit and felt like somebody shocked me in the back with a cattle prod. And oh, I was a hating life motherfucker for it still hurts. Like I can finally put my own socks on and stuff. So,
Really?
in dog years, she's a lot older than I am. So if she did just tweak it a little bit, I feel her pain. I was in rough shape for a while. I think my kids thought I was going to die. I couldn't,
Oh,
oh, it's rough. It happens to me about once a year, it seems like. And happened to be a week and a half ago this year, I guess.
I
At least I
had
didn't miss
one
out on any
time.
hunting.
Yeah, I had one time. I was actually coming back from Wisconsin on a plane, and somehow I tweaked my back. Like it must have been on the plane or something. I tweaked it, my neck, up between my shoulder
Yeah.
blades, and I mean, it could not. Came in and tried to sort it out, and I went to a chiropractor, and that made it worse. You know, what I mean, the chiropractor did not help, and I was like, went back. I was like, dude, I think it's worse. He adjusted me again, and then I was like, I absolutely know this is not going the right direction. And I was like, yeah, I'm not seeing. I still tried by that chiropractor. I'm like, nope, not that guy. That's an asshole right there. Um, and and boy, the worst. I mean, just the worst miserable pain I would have. Like stoved up, couldn't move my neck, couldn't hurt, just constant, just day in and day out of
Yeah.
pain, and kind of makes a guy an asshole, man. Not gonna lie.
Oh, I was ornery. I was ornery for a few days. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sucks getting old. Sucks getting old.
That's what they say. I had one of them injections, they go through your neck and give a steroid
Cortisone.
injection or yeah,
Yeah.
cortisone injection or whatever it is. And it worked because I still, if I'm not careful, my neck will, whatever. But boy, it sure was. I remember telling the doctor, I went to the neurosurgeon or whatever, neuro, whatever, and he's like, "Oh, just how are we gonna do this?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Here's the deal, man." I said, "I've never smoked dope in my life. I've never wanted to smoke dope in my life, but I'm about to try that shit because if those hippies all brag about having chronic pain and stuff, and I'm like,
If it works, I'm in.
if I'm in, like, I want to be a dope guy, you know what I mean? Like, I'll go buy it because if that's what their definition of chronic pain is this, and dope fixes that, I'm like, count me in." And he laughed. He goes, "Well, let's just try this injection first. And if that don't work, we can try the dope." I was okay. And I never did try the dope, and I still haven't, but I'm not a judging son. I was not judging at that point. I was like, I will try it, whatever. Cause
Willing to try anything at this point.
yeah, I was like, cigarettes aren't fixing it. I can tell you that right now. I smoke a cigarette, it
Yeah.
doesn't help. But maybe marijuana would help. I don't know. No.
Get one of these. Maybe can you see that scar?
Uh-uh.
Like a fire. I had to have a couple vertebrae in my neck fused. I was
Oh, really?
having major issues. Like my biggest problem was my arms would go numb and the
Oh,
tingling, and so I had actually like bone spurs growing on my
yeah.
vertebrae, and they ended up having to fuse three of them together, which not fun. Not fun. I mean, thankfully my arms don't go numb and stuff anymore, but just
Were they going numb when they were down or up? Because mine,
any
if I have up, man, I'm tight for a little bit. Like there's a weird thing in my
pretty
arms
much
are up,
just
but
like sitting here like that. Like if I sat on something without a backrest that I couldn't
yeah,
like lean back on,
right.
like that, I mean, my arms would just start tingling. Like sometimes
Oh,
driving in my truck, I would probably look like, those things that car washes have on the side of the road with the arms flailing back
yeah,
and forth. That's what
yeah,
I would look like because I would be just like trying to get into any position I could to relieve that. It
yeah,
was,
yeah.
and I dealt with it for like a year and a half. Finally, I'm like, just like you. I mean, I was going to the chiropractor every day for, or once a week for, I don't know, eight,
You
9 months. And
you start dropping your judgmental stuff. It's like, "Dude, I don't care what it takes to fix it. Anything. We'll try anything,
yeah,
man.
I'm up for anything at this point. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
You got to
I
cut a
don't feel
hole in
like
my neck
judging.
and no,
Yeah,
you got to cut a hole in my neck and go through and put a plate on it. Do it. Like, just
yeah.
make it better.
Exactly. You want to use
But
my knife or you want to use yours? I don't care. Let's get this shit started. Because yeah, no, that was the only time where I was like, it was just absolutely miserable, and I was like,
yeah,
dude, like you said, you just couldn't get comfortable, and yeah, the quality of life was going downhill. So getting old sucks.
yeah,
Like
it
Sam.
does.
So oh, we take
Yep.
off. I say we'll take off tomorrow. I'm always nervous about flying now because after that one time, I'm like, oh, am I going to have that stoved up issue coming back from the airplane? But no, we'll,
Well, and you
we'll,
guys have had other issues on your mostly getting home from Wisconsin though, isn't it? That
yeah,
you've had issues.
yeah, we've had some, I don't know, sometimes they're horror stories. They've been actually paid out pretty good for us. Like, like,
In the end,
yeah, in the end, I think last year even we got locked out of Wisconsin getting home. Yeah, yeah. So our flight got canceled coming out of Wisconsin, and so we had to wait till the next day to to fly home.
yeah.
No, it was overbooked. Yeah, no, they overbooked it. So they had a cancellation on another one, and they were overbooked, and they asked they needed 4 seats, and we had four seats, and so I was like, "All right, guys, everybody good?" And I said, I'm gonna go negotiate." And so they were
2 years
asking
ago,
for
we had a bad snowstorm.
uh-huh. Yeah, and then we got delayed because of that. Which for weather you don't get compensated,
Yeah.
but when they overbook, that's when you can go, and I think I don't
Get
know
some
if
free shit.
if I got 2 grand a seat or 1,500 or something I got. So everybody got a little bit of a payday. And I was like, I told him, I said, "Hey, you get us rooms and 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 get these guys, a credit or whatever." So, and then I had that happen to me in Michigan one time. I was coming out of Michigan, and again, the flight was overbooked. And that one, shoot, I got $3,000 for that,
Wow.
for jumping off that seat. It didn't start that way, but I was like, got up to 1,500. I said, okay. And I went and talked to I was the first one to offer at 1,500. They needed 7 seats. They needed 7 people to get off. And so I went and I said, hey, I'll hop off, it's 1,500 or whatever they were. I was like, I call my wife and she's like, yeah, I don't need you home. And so they were trying to get more seats and more seats. So they went to 2,000, and they went to 2,500, and then they finally got all the seats filled at 3,000, right? And so they called me up, go, okay, you're at 300. Because even if you jump in at 1,500, you go up with the group. It's not like the first guy gets 1,500, the last guy
Yeah.
gets $3,000. So I was like, no problem. Well, then um, they, they found out actually they didn't need 7 seats. And so they only needed like 2 or 3. And so,
Oversold
so
themselves.
yeah, so now they're like, crap. So, and so before, nobody wanted a seat. Nobody wanted to give up their seat. Everybody in the airport's like, whatever. So the $3,000, everybody had cleared off.
Plane was empty again.
Exactly. Well, then they were like, okay, well, how many people want to get back on the plane? Nobody wanted to give up the 3,000. So then I'm like, and so anyways, we're at the gate, and they're like, we need to fill the plane to. And I'm looking, we're going to miss our connections. I mean, it's already late. You know what I mean? Like, we've already been sitting here in this yo-yo auction style thing for like 45 minutes to an hour. So it's like my flight in Minneapolis was going to get missed, or wherever I was traveling through. And so we're sitting there, everybody on there got the connection that's getting missed. So it's like, we're all getting to Minneapolis and we're all going to be delayed, So anyways, I go up there again and I said, hey, look, if you need me to get on that plane, I can just get on the plane. You know what I mean? Like that, whatever, if that makes it easier for you. And that lady's like, thank you. So she puts me on the plane. And I just said, it's kind of, but I did say, it's kind of bullshit, that I jumped in at 1,500 for you guys to help you. And then everybody held out until it got to 3,000. And now the people who held out are causing you the, I said, I said, I feel for you because you're in this weird position, but you should have just kept a list to be like 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean? And the last guy to jump in is the first guy on, go get your seat. You don't get your, like, you held out the longest, you gamble. And I said, so anyways, that must have resonated because I was sitting in there and they come on the plane. And she comes up on the plane right next to me and she goes, okay, I got 3,000 for you. And I remember thinking, right on. I got on the plane and they're going to give me my 3,000. And so she walks off and gets off the airport. And so I just sat there and I'm sitting there and they'd have me upgraded to first class because, they upgraded me. So when they got the seat, and she poked her head back through the front and was like, points at me and was like, get off the plane. I'm like, oh. You mean I got to get off the plane and okay. Oh, sorry. It was like, my bad. Give her my shit and get off the plane. And so,
should have been like, well, if nobody's sitting there, I mean, I might as well.
yeah, exactly. I thought I got the seat and a 3,000. But that was pretty cool. Anyways, but and they booked me to a hotel and flew me out the next day, I think, and it worked out okay. And man, Laura was pretty happy that. Because I got gift cards, it was like Visa gift cards or something.
Sure.
So I was like $3,000 for my wife because I wasn't gonna get in until 9 o'clock at night anyway. So I was like, basically just got in 10 o'clock in the morning instead of 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
So
sleeping in your own bed
fun.
for the night was it?
Yeah, that was the only thing that was missing. So we had that happen in Wisconsin last year. Not 3,000 a ticket. That would have been a score. 4 of us 3,000, like $12,000 for getting delayed by 12 hours or so.
Yeah, that's easy money.
Yeah. But you got to be willing to be flexible. You know what I mean? Like, you got to roll with the punches when you do that.
And I'm just by nature, I'm not very flexible.
Most people aren't, man. Most people are like, I already got my mind and I'm going to be in this town.
Yeah, I'm getting home tonight.
Right.
You take that $3,000 and shove it up your ass. I'm getting home tonight.
I want to sleep in my bed.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Do you guys take in trades at
Yeah.
this weekend? You do?
We will, we'll do credit probably. Yeah, we'll do, store credit. So whether you can use it if we'll have enough there or not, but we're going to do that. And we're also buying broken gear. So if I can get this out
Okay.
to everybody ahead of time and like broken gear, we'll go ahead and give store credit. I've already told them that we've already committed that we're going to bring a box home. So now that we're shipping, so a lot of times we're shipping it home. It was really a pain. I mean, the reason we stopped doing trades in Wisconsin was because, man, our luggage would smell like skunks on
Sure.
the way home. We, back in those DC-30 days when it was like, man, we get those collars that were totally skunk smelled. And I mean, it was rough.
I'm sure somebody gets a collar skunked. They're like, "Ah, no, right now's probably a pretty good time to trade that sumbitch in."
Yeah, yeah. And it wrecks your whole luggage. And I'm like, okay, I am not putting that in my luggage. I don't want every trip I take from now on going to wherever I'm going to go. They're like, shit, what's that smell?
Yeah.
It's not even my dogs. So, but this year, we had we had already talked about it, and so we will. I think we're just going to throw it in a box. And Chance Kaler has been really awesome, and normally we've made some friends there that's been able to ship some stuff back to us. I'm sure I can talk you into it
Sure.
too if I need to, but
Yep.
he has an account we can ship off of UPS, and so anyways, I'll send the skunk smell some colors with him.
Where are we at on the 15s? Are they done being fixable now or not quite yet?
From us, they are. So Garmin won't fix any for us. So we can't fix 15s for customers. I believe, and I don't know for a fact, but Garmin was still repairing 15 colors. And I actually heard from somebody that they're still repairing Alpha 100s, which I was really surprised about because I thought they were completely out of those. Um, so anyways, Garmin's kind of got in this I don't know, scenario situation where they just stop supporting the dealers and then you got to go through them directly. So, I
Sure.
don't quite know what the logic on that is, but, probably because we just wipe them out, when we
I
send
was gonna say, so
30 or
they're not
40 at
getting
a time.
that volume at once.
Y- Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so 15 collars. If you have one that you want to try and get repaired, you need to call Garmin right away because they will run out of them. Like I don't know how many they have. I don't know how long they'll last, but I've heard of, they probably won't last very long. Um, you can get them. You might be able to still get them repaired through Garmin. We cannot repair TT15s. Now we can do X's, TT15 X's we can. And of course 25s we can, 200s, 300s we can. Alpha 100s and TT15s are just pretty much, at least as far as dealer support, we can't get those refurbished anymore.
I was just teeing that up for you a little bit in case somebody's got 15s that they were
Yeah, we'll
um,
still take them. Like we'll take
looking
any
to
broken collars.
upgrade.
Yeah, 15 colors. If you got them, they're broken and damaged, and you don't want to get them fixed or whatever. I think we're on 15 colors we're giving $25, and we're giving up to $40 depending on the customer. You know what I mean? It's like we don't normally give a bonus or something sometimes. And then 15X colors broken if they don't want to fix them, they want to upgrade to a 25 or something like that. We're giving $45 on broken colors. So yeah, we'll take broken colors, and then we're also gonna entertain doing trade-ins on working colors. And so yeah, we can definitely do that.
Minis? Take minis?
Oh man, I hate minis.
I don't.
We'll take them. Yes, we'll take them. But gosh, minis are just there's so many problems with minis that I'm adverse
And my
to.
uncle's got a couple that are still working, and I'm like, God damn, I can't believe. I mean, they're pretty old. I'm like, I can't believe them things still work. I'm like,
The
you might want to.
older ones are better than the newer ones.
No
Like
kidding.
so, some of the older ones lasted. The newer ones, when we were going through that COVID deal, man, it seemed like there was just problems. Like it was just the minis really got on our refurbished ones. We just seen a lot more failures than was what I what I like to see.
Mhm.
So that's my only thing is I look at mini collar and I still have PTSD from trying to, you know, deal with customers that had problems and they were failing and it was just really hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So yeah. But we'll take them. Like I said, it's not that we won't take them. It's just I'm not gonna smile about it. Like, dang it, I don't want one of these.
Gotta listen to a little bitching and
Yeah, you gotta get you watch my PTSD, whatever you hand me one of those. I'm like, God, dang it, I forgot what this feels like. So Garmin should
cool.
be there. I talked to Mark, so he should be in there. I think he'll be able to update some software. So I know we had a couple customers that couldn't get their software updated, and I told him either we can get it done on special. He's not able to get the Wi-Fi set up, and he tried on the phone and he wouldn't. So I told him, I said, "Well, bring him in." And so Garmin, Mark Sepp should be there for Garmin to update some software. If you
He wasn't
have
there
a,
last year, was he?
no, he had a
I thought
commitment
it's
or
been a
something.
year or two. I thought maybe they just, now that you can set up everything to update over Wi-Fi pretty much. I thought maybe Garmin's just decided it wasn't worth having him there, but it's good to hear that he'll be back this year.
Yeah, yeah. No, he travels a lot, so I think he had some other big show or something. I don't know if it was like CES or something. I don't remember what it was last year. He had some kind of bigger, like broader show that he had to go, and he wasn't able to go up to that one. Or maybe it
Sure.
was personal. Maybe he had something personal. I don't know. But there was a reason. I remember him talking. He
Yep.
called me. He's like, "Buddy, I feel bad. I can't go." But he did. I did talk to him today, or not today, but this weekend. He's planning
He'll
on
be
going,
there.
so we'll see him. See him works up there.
Good to
I haven't
know.
heard. Uh, haven't heard much. Like I said, I need to see it. Oh, I think hopefully Chip's gonna be there. I need to get some more of that. I've been feeding some of that probiotic
Mm.
that he has. It's like a canine guard or something, some paste.
Yep.
Um, with the puppy changing food, I've been giving her a little bit, and then she'll be on antibiotics. So I told my wife, I said, "Go and get some more of that." His elite nutrition probiotic. It
Sure.
seems to work. I need to see if I can find a probiotic. Maybe I should. I talked to him a little bit about picking that stuff up and carrying some of that, but man, there's so many different products with that elite nutrition that I can't. It's just overwhelming.
It's
How did that ever go with you? Like, did you ever try that with the Lyme disease stuff, or
yeah.
what's your thoughts on it? I'll put you on
I
a
don't.
spot.
I mean, I
I'm
didn't.
not carrying it. Yes, so let me be honest. You can be as honest as you want, because like I'm just curious about it.
I don't think it works. I mean, I'm sure
Uh,
there's some health vitamin benefits there, but um, I don't think. Yeah, I don't really think it works for fighting Lyme disease.
and you
Um,
tried it?
yeah, I tried it.
Yeah. What was the dog you had?
So that was a few years ago now. I think I was giving that to Remy. Pretty much, uh, pretty much every dog around here is going to test positive for Lyme. In fact, Della, she's not 2 yet. She's almost 2. Here a week ago or something, or a couple of weeks ago now, she just wasn't eating great. Like she was acting pretty fine and
Right?
everything. She just wasn't eating great, and she's had Lyme before. Um, and I told my wife, I'm like, I'm just gonna put her on Doxy and see if it helps. And I ain't shitting you. 3 days later, she's eating eating great again. So I think almost every dog up here will test positive for it. But I think I tried it with him, and part of the part of the problem with it is it's like a 90-day routine as
Yeah.
well. So it's a giant pain in the ass for
Yeah.
like Remy wasn't a house dog. He's not a dog that's
It's a
by
pain
me
in the
all the
ass to
time.
give antibiotics for 10 days. I can tell you that right now. I was like, "Did you give
Well,
it?"
what
Oh, I forgot.
what I do, because Lyme or with Doxy, I just have to give it to her once a day. So when I feed her, I just give her 2 pills.
Yeah,
But yeah, I got a dog with ear infection right now. That's twice a day, and yeah, it is a pain in the ass.
yeah,
But for 90 days, and I didn't see them getting better. Um,
really.
I mean, I gave it a while, but also, how long can you give it, knowing the dog is not feeling well and not seeing an improvement? Knowing that I have the antibiotic in the cabinet that I could start
Just to fix it
giving them,
or
and I
whatever.
know I'll see an improvement in a few days, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I think so, Lyme is no different than the cold or whatever, in that some some dogs can probably have Lyme their whole life and you never know it. They fight it, their body, or antibodies or whatever in their body is just such a way that it kind of always fights it off, whereas other dogs, I mean, I've seen some dogs that literally just like you thought they were going to die, would sit outside with their head hanging, drooling and stuff. Um,
Right.
and then, some other dogs like Della, like she acts completely fine. Just it would take her 24 hours to eat her food
Mm.
versus usually when I feed them, they gobble it up right away, So that's the only indication that I had that she something wasn't quite right. So I guess all that to say, I think some dogs, if and those the elite nutrition stuff, it probably does help boost their immune system a little bit in some ways. So I think there's probably some dogs that could test positive for Lyme, and you give them that, and it would maybe be just the boost that they needed to get over it.
Hmm.
Um, but as a gonna work for every dog thing, I don't see it. And I
Interesting.
talked to that. Of course, you're hitting me on this now after it's been a few years, so I've kind of forgot a lot of stuff. But I talked to like my vet. I hate to say it, but I'm pretty good friends with him at this point. I mean, I've been going to him forever, and I mean, shit. So,
If you're
you
paying
know,
his car payment.
yeah, there's been stretches where I've been in his office twice a week for 2 months,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I go in the back door. That, like, I don't even go to the front desk. That's the kind of relationship I have. So I talked to him about it a bunch, and I did some research on it, and I'm like, I
You,
know
you're not sold on it.
I'm not sold on it for sure.
Yeah.
No,
No, that's
I'm
fair.
not sold on it.
Like I say, when in the beginning, I was like, I want honest opinions. You know what I mean? I don't know enough about it. And that's one of my biggest, issues is, even like right now, I'm actually using, their probiotic, because this number one, this puppy's shitting in my house. I'm
Yeah,
like, whatever I
yeah,
can do to stop that. So if there's some kind of
yep.
magic, whatever. Um, and then I know that just taking antibiotics for humans and stuff as probiotic is good. So I'm like, you know what, it ain't gonna hurt me. Um, and
No,
you know, I'm seeing uh, both indications are I'm not doing any damage or hurting anything with the probiotic paste or whatever that I got. So um, yeah, but I'm also really limited on what I use. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of careful of it, and I I'd use any kind of probiotic, you know, that I could find. That was just the one that I have because the chips sent me some to use it. So I was like, huh. And in fairness, it seems like it's working. So I'm gonna pick some more up when I'm down there when I see them.
and when they got that other, I don't even remember what it's called now, because, well, this I got this one dog that's got really bad allergies. Like, she gets ear infections all the time,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "Oh, give him this stuff." I don't
Yeah,
even, like I said, I don't remember the name of it, and I'm like, "Okay, it's cheaper than your antibiotics. I think you give it orally versus drops in the ears." And
right.
but again, it's like, you got to give it to him for 60 days. I'm like, okay, well, she's in the house. It's not a giant pain in the ass for me to do it, but I know she's got an ear infection. I'm giving her this
Yeah,
stuff for, 3 weeks. The ear infection's not getting better. I'm like, I got a bottle of antibiotics in the
Yeah.
cabinet. I know I can start putting these drops in her ears, and in 3 days,
You're gonna be
it's gonna be a lot better, you know, and I don't know. I didn't see that working either. So, I
it is
don't
difficult because it is hard. I mean, 60 days, 90 that's a hard yeah, especially with a pack, you know what I mean? So, like and that's kinda my thinking too is whenever I need something, it's like, "Okay, I need something now." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we
I
need
need
to
a
fix
fix
this now.
now. Like, I don't
Yeah,
have 60 days to let
yeah,
this, yeah, fester.
yeah. No, I can totally appreciate that. Like I said, I half the time I don't even know what the stuff I'm looking at is. It's like, okay, well, there's this, this name here, and then I know the um glucosamine. I definitely was a fan of that. Um,
I think there's definitely some benefits to, you know, that it's just like you taking vitamins or like you said,
mhm,
you taking a probiotic when you're like, I think there's definitely some benefits to that stuff. But now when you start talking about it taking the place of doxycycline and antibiotic, you know, to fight an infection, it's like, all
yeah,
right, you know, that's a
there's a lot of
whole
risk.
different,
There's a lot of risk there.
yes. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't
no,
like doxy either. I don't like giving them doxy either, but it works. You know, I mean, I have Lyme, you know, I don't know if when we were having these conversations several years ago, I mean, I've had Lyme myself. If there was something else I could take to cure it other than doxycycline, I'd be all for it because when I was on doxy, I'd have to take a probiotic. And even sometimes then my stomach would, you know, if I didn't take it, if I didn't eat something when I took it, my stomach would kind of ache for a little while. You know, I could just kind of
yeah,
tell it was tearing me up a little bit. And my wife,
right.
she's really into the natural medicine type shit. You know, I mean, she hop on her phone and research all sorts of shit. And she got me this stuff. Here, do this. You know, I had to take 2 pills of this and 3 pills of that and some shit that I
Yeah,
put on a spoon that was tasted freaking horrible. And, you know, she'd be like, yeah, it might take a little while for it to start working. You know, you're supposed to do it for 45 days or whatever. And again, it's like 7, 10 days in, I'm like, it's not doing it. I'm like, babe, I can't, like, I'm not going to keep feeling like shit, crossing my fingers, hoping this voodoo stuff's going to work when I can start taking Doxy tomorrow. And I know in 3 days I'm going to be feeling better, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's tough. But
No, like I said, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, and so the glucosamine, because I had the older dogs, so I was, the joint and hip, which I can, I'm really careful to say like how it works, what I mean? But I can tell you, hunting, 10, 11, and 12-year-old dogs. Now they're not acting like 5 and 6-year-old dogs, you know what I mean? But
it's not a miracle. Yeah. It's not,
yeah,
a miracle drug, but
but to be able to hunt them and they're moving
yeah.
around the, and I just had to reorder our hip and joint supplement. So we sold out of, or we almost sold out. We're taking a little bit more to Wisconsin. Um, and that was something that I mostly searched because I wanted a cost effective way of doing that hip and joint because
Mhm.
everywhere you see those things, they're like $40 or $30, you know what I mean, for a bucket. And so, um, I was like, man, we got to get the cost down for our customers at least, you know what I mean? So I got, like they're like $15 a bottle now instead of 30 or 40. So for $45, I think you almost get like three different three
Mhm.
buckets of them or whatever. And um we've got a lot of good feedback. I mean, I had, because we sent one out to our leader of the pack members,
I
you
use
know,
mine
how
up.
yeah, and I had a couple guys that are like, "Man, my old dog is, like, bopping around like it wasn't before," and it's like, those things actually work, and so that was really good feedback to hear,
Mhm.
because 'cause I'm always cautious and anxious about, overpromising, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Well, and
"Yeah."
I think supplements are, I mean, you're gonna have people that see good results from it, and then you're probably gonna have some people that are like, "It don't do shit." I mean, I
Yeah.
think just just because with supplements, there's not, uh, it's not a hu it's not a huge improvement one way or the other. You know
No.
what I mean? Like, so some of it can be subjective. Some of it can be what, like I use mine up. I gave it to my older bird dog. But I'm also kind of in the off season right now, which was maybe stupid of me. So,
Right.
you
You
know,
just don't know.
she's
Yeah.
not doing anything. I mean, she's not
It's
bouncing
hard.
off the walls, but I don't
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it,
No.
supplements are, a big hole.
I
I mean, it's a rabbit hole that it's, I
I've
don't know. I do
committed to
some of it,
doing it
but
mostly because I had, like I said, when I had 10, 11, and 12, I was like,
yeah,
makes sense for me.
it's not going to
At
hurt.
2 years, when I when I I've been giving them to, because my wife's kinda into that natural stuff too, and she's like, "Well, you can't just do it at the very end, you gotta do it all," which, okay, I'm not trying to tell people that you gotta do this at your pops, okay? So, like, you got editors can edit this part out. Like, I'm not trying to sell people that every 2-year-old needs to start taking glucose with me, but that's what, my wife is, she's a help, and I'm sure there's some truth to this, that this is building the joints, and the healthier you can make those joints when they're 5 years old and 6 years old, the better that's going to be. I mean, waiting until you're 85 to work on your knees is probably not the answer. You know what I mean? Like, if you really want to be healthy at 85, I'm supposed to start working now at 40, whatever I am. I don't like that answer either. So I don't do that shit either. Like, kind of gets mad at me, but like, I can see that mentality, and so I've been messing with that a little bit, but every time I give this my pup one of these things, I'm like, "Yeah, I think I'm wasting it on you right now." Like, what?
There's $2 I'm never going to get back. There's,
Exactly.
yeah.
She's like, "It's a
It's,
treat.
but
It's a treat."
it's just, smoking's not good for you, right? But then some guy
None.
can be like, wow, my grandpa, he lived to be 105, and that some bitch smoked from the time he was
Yeah.
10 till the day he died.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, maybe he did, but
Yeah.
that's, I, you know, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Worked for him,
No.
but so
Yeah.
yeah, supplements are, oh man, it's a,
It's tough. Like I said, so the joint one I've been comfortable selling, you know what I mean, having that on there. And the Alpha Dog had the joint one. They had a shield, which was supposed to be for allergies and stuff, and then a hydration one, which I think the hydration one would be decent if you're really work like summertime. I mean, I can see bear hunting and stuff
I
like that. Like,
I've
yeah,
used that quite a bit. What again, kind of the main benefit I see in it is it makes them drink when they
hmm,
might not necessarily drink. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Because it puts a little bit of flavor in them, or might make them drink a little bit more when they wouldn't have drank. I don't. Again, I've used it a lot. When I go
yeah,
on bird hunting trips and stuff, I see. Am I like, oh man, I can tell I forgot that shit this trip. You
yeah.
know what I mean? My dogs are just flat. Like, no, that's not really the case. But I
Makes you feel
I think
better.
it makes me it makes me feel like I'm doing everything I can, kind of.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Um, and I definitely don't think it hurts. So
Yeah, no, and that's kind of where I've been on that, like the hydration electrolytes, because Shia actually gave electrolytes when she came out of the woods. I thought she was completely exhausted, and so I was trying electrolytes because I thought, well, maybe it's a nutrient,
mhm.
deficiency thing, and
Yeah, sugar's
um,
low or something. Yeah,
yeah, something weird like
yeah,
that. And so but no, that wasn't it. And so it's,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know, like, anyway. So I'm comfortable doing the joint supplements. We've got that locked in. I'm waiting for a new order of those coming in. But I'm also, like I said, I'll probably talk to Chip about bringing some of the probiotics, because the probiotics I feel like I've seen a improvement in the
Yeah.
puppy, because I think her tummy was upset or whatever, some of the
Well, gut
transition
health
went
is
through.
huge for everything. I mean, that doesn't
Yeah.
that. dogs, humans, whatever, so
Yeah.
anything you can do to promote that, I think
Yeah. So
is a good thing.
I think at least in the last week, I've been using that Canine GI or whatever, theirs is just because that's what I had. And
Mhm.
I've been happy with it. It's probably something I'm gonna keep in my kit. So that might be the next product I bring in. I don't know. They don't that stuff doesn't sell really like even joint supplements, I don't sell a ton of it. So I don't know. It's just not our core business, but I like to offer the things that I use, I guess.
Well, you're kind of in a tough space I mean, shit, most houndsmen are, trying to find the cheapest dog food they can find and stuff. And,
Yeah,
when you're feeding 20 dogs, you're most of us aren't going to give joint supplements to all 20 of them. So,
I know. What food
myself included,
what
but
feed do you feed?
I've been feeding a Nookshuk now for
I'm not sure.
several years. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's the best thing I've ever fed by quite
yeah.
a bit.
A lot of people. I actually I should get a couple pallets delivered here today or tomorrow. Of an extra supposed to. It just got to Portland last night, so I don't think they're
Has
gonna
the
deliver
price
today,
gone
but
up much or no?
not a ton, not in the last year. It went up for a little bit, but I'm
Yeah.
guessing it will because of fuel.
My
I'm
last
guessing.
2 orders were the
Yeah.
same price, but it had gone up previous to that, but my last 2 pallets have been the same.
If
So,
fuel doesn't go down, I'm sure they're gonna raise it, and it never goes back down. That's the shitty part, right?
I know.
So
Yep.
so I don't know.
But,
That's the
I
hard part
mean,
is coming from Maine. We gotta ship it over from Canada and Maine, you know,
yep.
that freight is
Oh, and yeah, it's a
brutal.
pain. You know what though? There's getting to be like here in Wisconsin, if you don't want to buy a pallet of it at a time or whatever, there's getting to be a lot of places that you can go buy 3 or 4 bags. Um,
Yeah.
there's a
We're
lot of those little distributors around now.
we're starting to, but we keep selling out. That's what we get a couple bags. And I was like, oh, um, on the next shook. Um,
Yep.
I've been feeding that next level, but I don't know if I'm not sold on it. A couple guys didn't have any good results on that.
Sure.
Um, and they switched to black gold. So I actually just had a customer call me a pallet of black gold. So I got that lined up, which that price, at least over here, is like sub 40 for a 50
Okay.
pound bag. So
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's pretty respectable and price wise. I'm like, oh shit.
but like with the Nookshook though, like I feed like half as much as I fed with anything else.
Yeah.
So price per bag's a little bit, and I've never fed back Black Gold. I've never fed Next Level, so I'm
Yeah.
I can't compare to those. But I fed Joy and Purina and um, Victor. I mean, I've fed some pretty
How do you
good.
like Victor? How do you like, I mean, I've heard good things about Victor. It's expensive, but
I liked it. My
yeah.
dogs did really well on it, but it got so damn expensive.
Yeah.
Um, And honestly, I'm feeding now that I switched to a Nookshook, I'm feeding about half as much as I did with Victor. Because if you just look at the kcal difference,
Yeah.
Victor's pretty low on their kcals, comparatively speaking
Right.
to some other stuff. So I'm just feeding half as much. Uh,
I
Pretty
got
much
cut
the
off
only.
of selling Victor. Like the first order I made, we bought like 4 pallets of Victor. And the next day it got delivered and they cut me off. Like, you can't buy Victor anymore. I'm like, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, price or something. Like, and I didn't even advertise price.
Yeah.
They didn't. Yeah, I was like, well, whatever. Like, the guys that were buying Victor aren't going to buy, I mean, like, they're
Yeah.
they're not going to go pay $75 or $80 a bag in the store. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yep.
sorry, but like, we're buying a pallet of dog food at a time. So, um,
Yep. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
about the only complaints, because I mean, all the bird dog guys I know, pretty much everybody feeds an X-Shuck now. About the
yeah,
only complaints I've had are from people that just start feeding it and say that their dog's got loose stool, and
Right.
it's like, well, are you feeding the same amount that you were before? Yeah, yeah, I feed them 3.5 cups a day or whatever. I'm like, well, you're feeding too much.
Right.
You dial it back, and I see that too. Like, obviously, when I start hunting, I feed my dogs a little bit more when they're running hard. But if I bump that up and say I take a week off and I don't cut back on their food a little bit too in that week, like their stool might start to get runny that last couple days or whatever because they're just not burning as much. But
Hmm.
I dial it back just a little bit and hit that sweet spot, and it's good.
Yeah.
That's like the only issue I have is if I
I
or I
wonder if
let
I
my
should
kids
try
feed
that
them.
again. I think it was Shelby that refused the next show. I had a
I've
dog that
I
just
have
absolutely
heard
refused it.
I have heard a couple people say that their dogs didn't like it, but
Yeah.
I don't have that
100%
issue. I
refused.
mean,
I mean, just and I'm pretty sure pretty sure it's the only one I got alive right now. So I
yeah,
can't try it. I'm pretty sure I could try it again. She'd be like, no, we tried this shit last time. A couple of years ago, you
she
tried this and I didn't like it then.
she was doing good until she went on a hunger strike and wouldn't eat, starved
Yeah,
herself to death.
exactly.
Yeah,
And she didn't make 13 when she didn't eat. So I don't know. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I everybody else liked it. So I'm pretty sure it was Shelby. I might try it again just to see. Um, because it did seem like
I
it was good food. I mean, a lot of people swear by it. So
I mean, one of the biggest problems is a lot of people don't like to switch formulas. Like, just tell me what I want to, what to feed, and I'll feed it all year. And I did this when I started feeding it too. I just bought the 30-25. I'm just going to feed it all year. Well,
right.
my dogs would get fat in the off season. Like, and I rode them pretty consistently and stuff. So I started buying mixed pallets. And
Yeah.
then when I hit the off season, I switched to 26-16. Cause I don't like when my dogs get
Too
too
heavy.
overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that 30-25, and I even buy a few bags of 32-32. Just because in the summer when I'm hunting a lot, I got a few dogs that don't eat very well when they're getting run hard. And
Yeah.
somebody told me this. They're like, well, feed them 32-32. They're like, they're getting a lot more out of a lot less then. I'm like, eh,
Yeah.
never thought of it that way. So if they're only going to eat a cup of food, you'd rather have them get a cup of food, 32
Yeah.
32 versus something all actually he told that to me when he was up, and I was like, god damn it, why didn't I think of that? So then I started just throwing a few bags of that on the pallet just so I have it, when
Yeah.
if somebody gets where they're not eating very well or something in the summer or gets a little
Yeah.
thin.
Yeah. I'm interested in it. Like I said, I don't know, like with the options. The next level's been good to me, but I haven't been hunting hard. Like, some of the guys that are hunting harder than me had a hard time with it. They definitely didn't like it. And I respect their opinion. I mean, like I don't chase other people, you know what I mean? But I respect their opinion enough to know that whenever they said their dogs weren't holding up on next level, I'm like, their dogs weren't holding up on next level,
There's
you know?
probably something, there might be something to that. Yep.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and they had a Nick shook, but they had a dog or two that refused a Nick shook. And so and he was like, I got 20 dogs. I can't have
Yeah.
two dogs. And if, everybody's got to eat.
Eating
So
something else. Yep.
they didn't stay with the Nick shook. And anyways, he's happy about black gold. And so, and I just, like I said, I had another guy talk about getting a pound of black gold because it is a little bit much cheaper. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
under $40 for a 50-pound bag is
That's
a
pretty
good
good. Yep.
price from what I can find. You know what I mean? As far as going
Yeah.
through like uh, Joy, Next Level, and Nukshook, any of those, like there isn't one that gets into that, under a
No.
dollar per pound.
No.
That pride, that sportsman's pride, I think people were getting. I don't know where you get it. I haven't seen that. So I've been just thinking about trying to find a cost-effective food for local guys, and I think that black gold might be what I try to
Yeah.
offer. I might try it a little bit myself. I don't know. It's so tough. I don't like switching dog food around a lot, but
No, it's a pain. And I'm gonna put out a little disclaimer. Dog food is kind of like supplements. Like, even though I say I like a Nick Shook a lot, like, you're not gonna come hunting with me and be like, "Holy shit, his dogs are superstars because he's feeding a Nook Shook." Like, it's not
Yeah.
like, you don't see major big things like that. It's all little tiny the amount I feed,
You gotta pay like the stool a lot, and
the
I don't pay
stool.
because
Yes.
my dog's crapping my grass in my yard,
Yeah.
so I don't
You're not
I don't
scoping it out every
I
day.
don't see it
Yep.
every day. So that's one of
Yep.
the things that is a, you know, I'm not as tuned into that as some guys are. Some guys can really watch that and go, "Okay," and really fine-tune their feeding program based on that stool.
Yep. Yeah, and I
So,
got 3 outside right now that I scoop their shit every day. So if they got one loose stool a little bit, I know something is a touch off or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, you can kinda pay attention, go, "Oh, I've had too much," or
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting to me. I just don't have that ability. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Like I said, I'm kind of in this mode where I'm about down to my last couple bags of my pallet that I bought, and honestly, uh, I'm looking at the cost of next level and going, man, is it worth paying extra, or do I want to jump to that black gold, which is a little bit cheaper, or you know, the high standard. That wasn't bad either, but I got to get 5 pallets of that over here, so I don't have enough to move. Dog food's a pain, man. I tell you what. It's like I need
I
that
know.
ability to get a pallet at a time, which that's kind of what a Nook Shook does good. You know what I mean? Like you can order a pallet and but it's from Maine, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what I like about Next Level is I can order a pallet and honestly I can order on a Thursday and have it on a Monday. So
Sure.
Next Level's super
Quick
convenient for
turnaround.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is one thing I will say, and that may be why I stay with it is just because of the convenience factor.
Yeah.
But we'll see if I might try a couple bags of black gold and see if there's a couple local guys that want to jump in on the pallet with me somewhere. We'll see. I don't know, man. Dog food is just that's a
That's
pain.
another rabbit hole. It's another
That
rabbit
is.
hole. For several years there, I was bouncing back between different shit because I just couldn't find something that I liked a lot. It was
Yeah.
either my dogs did pretty good on it, but it was damn expensive, like Victor,
Yep.
or Purina. I mean, that shit is crazy expensive now, but it's like, yeah, they do good on it, but I could pay half as much for something. And yeah, okay, maybe they might have a loose stool here or there, but at least I'm, it's still
Yeah.
half as much, is it?
How
But
much? How much does that loose stool cost me? How much extra do I got to pay for that?
exactly. Exactly. But since I've switched to an Unstruck, like I said, a couple years ago, I don't know, it's the best,
I
the,
wish my
the
dogs would
best
eat
thing.
that. Like I said, I'm everybody that's on that really likes it.
Yeah.
So that is, I will say that like it. I don't know. I might try it again. I might. I got a couple bags here that might. They ate the marine, which is more
Oh
expensive.
yeah. $10 more a bag, I think, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yep.
I don't have a ton of dogs right now, so it's not horrible for me. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
know a bunch of people that feed the marine. I don't. And are happy with the marine as well. But
yeah.
that's another $700 a pallet almost. So
I know. Dog food's expensive. That is
yep.
that is expensive. I wish there was a way to do like I need to do like a poll or something like that. We'll see. And on but you'll get 1,000 different, not 1,000, but hundreds of different ideas.
Oh yeah.
Like when I went to Pheasant Fest, you know what I mean? I seen the Sportsman's Pride. I mean, like I'd like to go talk to them. They even had in Nukanova or whatever I don't know how you say that
Yukonuba.
one.
Yeah.
Yukonuba
Yukonuba.
was a
Yeah.
sponsor, so they had one in what I mean, and there was Sportsman's Pride, I think, and I mean
And Nookshuk, I'm sure had a
Inukshuk was there. I just
yeah.
haven't talked to them. Next Level. Uh I didn't see Joy or High Standard, I don't think. But yeah, yeah. I've talked to Chip, you know, I mean, like Wade over at High Standard. So like, I'm always open, but everybody wants to try to sell me on it. I'm like, man, I'm the worst guy. Like I really, it's like, yeah, I'm just not easily sold on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
they all want to make it seem like it's some wonder drug, and like I said,
yeah,
that's not the case. Even with the Nookshuk, like you could put my dogs up next to somebody that feeds something that's $10 for a 50-pound bag, and you might not notice a difference.
right. Yeah. No.
So it's all
Well,
minuscule.
what time are you getting in Wisconsin?
Uh, I'll drive over Saturday morning. I think I'm gonna
I
have,
got one
and my
other
kids are coming
thing.
with me. So
So, have you ever messed with, and we're going to wrap this up here, but have you ever messed with that Manuka honey for wounds? Do you know what Manuka honey is?
I've heard of it, but no, I have not.
Well, again, my wife,
Oh, here we go again.
and you look at this, but this Manuka honey, it's got to be a high grade Manuka honey, is supposed to help healing like really good.
Huh.
And so when you're in a situation, I want you to look at that, Ross. If you get a dog that needs to get healed up. Now I
Yep.
tried it on uh Andy and Della when they got brushed up by that cat. And it was hard to apply, you know what I mean? Like to hold the bandage and all that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
it's just that's a product that's on my radar that I wonder if that needs to be in the dog world more.
They lick it and stuff,
I think so. Yeah. But it's
so you'd have to protect it somehow.
yeah, they make patches and different stuff like that, but it's some type of honey that I don't know. I don't know the specifics,
Yeah, yeah.
but Manuka honey. You should
I've
Google
heard
it.
of
You
it.
should research. Yeah, but in the human world, it's really they're like, man, you need this for whatever. Da 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 da. Da. And I just always am trying to figure out what that product that we're missing is. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
skin staplers, all that. I look at it and go, man, I wonder if. And again, we should come back to this whole thing. I was like, did it really work? Did it not really work? Would they feel
yeah, yeah,
normally? Like I'm not. I'm not saying it's like the magic cure, but
yeah.
it is one of those products on my radar that's hard for me to test. And so I'm just asking guys and users out there that if you have the opportunity to test this Manuka honey on your dog's wounds, I would really like to hear feedback on that. And if that's something that we need to add to our product line in the first aid world, you know what I mean, as far as dogs. And so I
You
don't
gonna
know.
get a bunch
I'm
of bees then,
skeptical.
or what?
What's that?
You
No,
gonna
it's
get a
it's some
bunch of
special
bees?
honey. It's not normal honey. I don't know if it's
It's not made by Manuka bees.
maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't gone this far into it, but I just
some
know that I had to
there's
Google the word because my wife
some
knows what
bee
it is.
from
But I'm like,
China.
I said honey that heals when I was on Google, so I was like, I didn't know what to call it because I forgot what the name was. But no, I'm just I we
I've heard of
tried
it.
it
Don't they make tea? Like, isn't there teas, or they put that in tea or something too?
maybe, but I
No.
don't think so. This is more just like a honey, but yeah, maybe there is. I think my wife probably has some expensive ass honey that she buys. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's just in the health world, this is one of those products that she has zoned in on as far as uh what do you call it? Healing.
Looking in the tea cabinet here, I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised if my wife has
see
some
if
of
your
that shit.
wife if
Uh,
your wife and my wife can take notes.
yeah, she might be able. She might have all the answers for us. Who knows?
Yeah, my wife, she listens to a ton of podcasts on health and fitness and I mean really knowledgeable. It's kind of annoying sometimes for me because I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, she's like, but I want you to be healthy and old. I'm like, nah, I'm not worried about that right now. I'll worry about that when I get old and not healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I'm the same way. Like, I gotta quit chewing first. I
Yeah.
don't I'm not gonna I'm not gonna worry about the vitamins until I quit the bad habits.
If I take that, can I get my cigarettes back? How's that? I'll take a deal.
Is it a wash?
Yeah, I think if I can buy cigarettes back, I kind of miss having cigarette once in a while, man.
The goddamn vitamins might be more expensive than the cigarettes, though.
Probably. Shit, that shit's getting expensive up here, man.
I
We got
guess.
our governor, which that pisses me off. We got to wrap this up, but you you tax on cigarettes, and I don't use nicotine pouches anymore, but a tax on nicotine. It's like, why are you taxing all the like quit smoking products? You know what I mean? Like the nicotine gum and the nicotine. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
like, I thought this was a sin tax. You know what I mean? I thought you was wanting to tax cigarettes, but now you just want to tax anything that people are addicted to. Anyways,
yeah. Tax anything they can make money off of.
Yeah. As long as you're addicted to it, they get their money. So,
Yep.
yeah. Well, we made it a little bit longer than I expected.
Yeah.
We'll wrap this up. I think this will come out Friday. Maybe Friday. By then we'll be down in Wisconsin.
Try to record one while we're there.
Yeah. You think you got, hopefully the senator, right, Rob?
Yeah, hopefully.
If we can corner him.
Yep.
That'd be awesome. And,
Yep.
try not to beat him up too much. He's a politician. We'll be like,
I'm
get him cornered. No,
I'm gonna set him
like
up,
Rob.
see if I can get him to hang himself.
No,
No, we don't. We want him in there.
Rob.
We don't want him
It's
going
not very
viral for the
often.
wrong reasons.
Yeah, it's not very often to be getting a really good, like, solid dude. Like, I really enjoy seeing Rob, and I chatted with him on the phone this year. I think he had some questions about the XL. And, anyways, he's just a good dude. So I'm excited to be able to chat with him. Try to ask him a couple questions about, get some of his advice or whatever. Advice.
Yep.
All right, Ross. Well, we'll wrap this one up. Next one we'll do in Wisconsin. But yeah, put that Manuka honey, and anybody that's listening, that has a wound. You know what I mean? If you're trying to heal a wound, I'm curious if the hype is something that I don't know. Like I said, it's something to try. And do we need to add that to our first aid kit? That's one thing. That's my question. I just don't have enough my dogs to test. And when I did try to test it, I'm always really hard on it too, because gosh, you're trying to figure out how to keep it on the wound. It was on the chest, so it wasn't like I could wrap it anywhere. And it didn't work that good. We had little packets of, like pads with the honey in it. So maybe if you just got some honey, I don't know if you just squirt the honey in there. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see. Manuka honey. Anybody that's got some experience with that, I'd like to know more about it. So
hopefully I don't try it out this summer.
Yeah, and I'm not saying make the, you know what I mean? Just when you have the opportunity, Ross, when you have the opportunity.